Something more important than the suppression of firearms or suppression of Muslims is the suppression of ideas and speech, because without that, the other conversations don't even happen. So last night there was another shooting in America, the worst in the country's history so far, and if you've clicked on this video then I'm assuming you know the details of the event. Whenever tragedies like this happen, the same issues always get brought up, whether that be gun laws in the US, the role that religion played in the motivation for the attacks, and probably the most important issue that rarely gets covered by mainstream media because it won't get ratings, which is mental illness. If history is anything to go by, these issues will be talked about, debated and scrutinized for the next couple of weeks, maybe months, since it was the worst shooting on record, only to have nothing actually productive in preventing these incidents get done, and then everyone will just forget about it until the next major tragedy happens, only to repeat it all again. It really is a fucked up cycle we've allowed ourselves to fall into. But despite these common talking points, they aren't what this video is about. Today I wanted to talk about the censorship of news and freedom of speech. So usually when tragedies like this happen, I hop onto Reddit to find out the details of what happened. The reason I head to Reddit is because it's not just a source of information, it's a discussion. If I read an article from a mainstream news outlet that was linked on, say, the news subreddit, I could have come to conclusion X about the events in regards to the issues I mentioned in the beginning of the video. However, under the linked article could be thousands of comments from people just like me expressing their own opinions on what happened, and under those comments even more people replying to what they had said, either challenging or agreeing with their thoughts and conclusions. So although I could have read the details from the exact same article as everyone else in the thread and come to conclusion X, another person may have settled on conclusion Y, or conclusion X.5. Maybe some of these ideas I wouldn't have given a lot of merit to, whereas other comments would lead me to question my own conclusion, and possibly even change the way that I looked at and thought about the situation. Whether or not you change your opinion isn't the point, it's the fact that other people with different ideologies and thought processes were able to convey how they viewed what had happened and challenge the conclusion I had come to, ultimately allowing me to arrive at a better conclusion. In regards to this open discussion of ideas, the subreddit r/news failed its users last night. As soon as I had heard what happened in Orlando, I headed to Reddit expecting the front page to be plastered with links of articles and news stories surrounding the details of what had happened. But what did I see? Herbie outsmarting pedestrians to start his new fucking hand collection. There was nothing regarding the attack, so confused I headed over to r/news to see that there was actually a mega thread covering the Orlando nightclub shooting, which I enthusiastically clicked on, only to see more than half of the comments had been deleted. The only comments that I could read were the newest ones that mods hadn't got to yet, of people saying that they couldn't get any information as all the details and links that people were commenting were being deleted. The subreddit r/news did such a terrible job of handling the situation that other subreddits Ask Reddit and Pix had to make their own mega threads so that people could post information and discuss what was happening. For those not literate in Reddit, these subreddits are literally devoted to people asking and answering questions and pictures. Fucking pictures! So the question must be asked, why were all these comments being deleted? Why was the information being censored? Why was free speech being suppressed? The same reason that I never go to mainstream news outlets. The information coming out from the attack didn't fit the narrative of some of the mods of r/news and was therefore suppressed to fuck. I believe it started with the post stating that the FBI had indicated the suspect may have had leanings towards Islamic extremism. Whether some of the mods were themselves Muslim, Islamic apologists, or just good old-fashioned SJWs, they didn't want the news getting out that the suspect could have possibly been motivated to commit this heinous attack by his religion. And what followed? Swift deletion of any talk or conversation that the attack could have been motivated by religion. The user SomeGuy363 summed up the whole situation in 7 words on the joke subreddit. I didn't get screenshots from the mega thread at the time, but when I went back onto the same mega thread this morning, it was littered with comments condemning the actions of the r/news mods, as well as being a wasteland of deleted thoughts and opinions. As the user ominous states, this story hits so many hot issues, I feel like some of the mods just couldn't handle it. I feel sorry for you Americans in election season, as now you'll have to listen to how Hillary or Donald will fix this. I imagine it would fuel the fire in the Trump camp in regards to background checks for Muslims, but what the fuck do you say if you're Hillary? We need to support the LGBT community, but also be tolerant to Islamic ideologies? That doesn't work, you have to fucking pick one. I'm not too sure how to summarize all this. If you want to leave your own opinions and summary in the comments of this video, I'll be reading them. But I think overall it's extremely frustrating to see that the same type of agenda-driven censorship that we regularly see on TV news is starting to make its way to the internet. The internet is meant to connect people all over the world with instantaneous, unbiased information. It's an organism. It's the first place I go to find out the facts and how people see and perceive the facts. Facts and the truth aren't biased, they aren't trying to protect a narrative, and they most definitely don't have an agenda. They just are. If these open forums of discussion like Reddit become censored to fit the narrative of certain individuals behind the scenes, where the hell am I meant to go for open discussion and to have my ideas challenged? Something more important than the suppression of firearms or suppression of Muslims is the suppression of ideas and speech, because without that, the other conversations don't even happen.